Hi, I'm Trisha, and these are some of my very early experiments. Along with augmented reality, I also like to use code to make the artworks move. So the first image is something that uses only code and a single box to make the movement, and the second one is with particles. For context, augmented reality is something that when you take a digital object and place it into real space, and you can view it through your phone or your smart glasses, and it also allows you to play with material, bringing an object to life, or you can play with the way it's placed in the real world. And most of the upcoming projects that I'll be talking about are with Art Tech House. It's a space in New York, Miami, and DC. It has a lot of immersive and interactive art. And we change exhibitions almost every 2 months, so there's a lot of work, and visitors are encouraged to download an app as soon as they enter. One of the first projects I wanted to talk about was with Zach Lieberman. He creates 2D artworks with code, and in the same ethos, I tried my best to create the same thing for 3D. Every element that you see here, mesh, texture, is created with code only. This was for Murphy. He creates algorithmic creatures that you can interact with, and they were some of my attempts to take simple objects and give them qualities that make them creature-like, and make them have some life and respond to the space around them in augmented reality. Some of the projects have also been about representing cultural voices. Vince Fraser works with themes of Afrofuturism. It was incredible to deep dive into the African culture and make them come to life. Dance is a very important part of their culture, and textures are very unique. So to deep dive into all of that and make it come to AR. And in Life of a Neuron, some projects are focused on concepts. So this is for machine hallucinations with Rafiq. It talks about the way an AI piece is created and hallucinates at the end. This is Life of a Neuron. We were exploring neurons' journey from birth to death, and everything that happens in between. It was made as a celebration of having an accurately reproduced 3D neuron for the first time. Beyond the Light celebrated James Webb Telescope's first images. It used many new technologies that we wanted to represent. We were honoring the telescope itself, but also the amount of boundaries that it pushed along the way. Some of the artworks showed how it signals back to the Earth through telemetry, connecting to the 3 Deep Space Network antennas. Some of them were about James Webb Telescope itself and how it processes the images, how it reads every channel to identify the gases and elements that make up what it's looking at in space at the moment. The ocean twilight zone is a space between 200 to 1,000 meters underwater. It holds incredible life forms found nowhere else, since very little light reaches there. And we were showcasing phenomena like dial-vertical migration, untethered robots that follow creatures around. We also tried to, every time that there's AR or any other exhibit, we try to make sure that whoever walks into the space grasps it in a very vivid way. And so some of the artworks were like explaining what we're talking about, which is the twilight zone, and some was like somewhat intersection of the ocean and what creatures live there, and we could help you imagine it. One of the exhibits that we recurringly do is about cherry blossoms, and DC has cherry blossoms season that happens every year, and the whole city transforms into it, and over the years, we've explored many angles towards it, and one of the angles was very inspired by isekai anime from Japan, which kind of transports a person into a different world. So I get to actually deep dive into all of this and research and watch anime also in the process. This was about the generative AI. This was at the ending of 2021, and we created an entire exhibition only on the generations. my challenge was that how do I get textures into something that I make so 3D. So there were some things that I created on my own, but there's a lot of texture use and how I can bring it to life. Back home in Bangalore, we host an art and music night called Intergalactic Futures, and we send out invites before the event that trigger augmented reality. And it's been very exciting because most of my work is outside, so it's been very exciting to have people around me see it and experience it. I've also been creating AR, which is much closer to home. I'm from Rajasthan, and there are a lot of motifs that I see around that I wanted to bring to life, not just like into 3D, but how they would feel if they were actually in nature. And thanks to Avinash, I've also been learning world building, and then I thought, you know, why can't I just take these motifs and create a whole world on my own with the Valley of Flowers, and how would a bee or a pollinator or a butterfly see, or a bird see this space. It's been a lot of experimentation, and it's a lot of learning and process while doing that. A lot of the earlier experiences were anchored to images, but AR is also capable of being anchored to a room, and it can add a lot of digital storytelling, a lot of things to that space itself also. Yeah, that's me. A lot of the work actually lives in my living room usually, so it's really nice to present it here, and the medium has been very exciting to work with over the past few years.